Hello, my name is Bekah, and I'm your host for the show called Bekah's Constellation. This is a special Black History edition for Bekah's Constellation.
This episode begins with a trip I took with my family last summer to the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. The center is named after the historian Arturo Alfonso Schomburg, who, like myself, was of African and Puerto Rican descent. He was a close friend of my grandmother's favorite author, Langston Hughes. A section of the museum talks about their relationship. My father wanted me to see an exhibit he had seen there. It was the Black Power exhibit. You can hear in his own words why.
This was the period of my childhood. This is what I've been talking to you about. This is what I've been trying to get you to understand why I'm so passionate about what we do. It's so important to lift up our people because for me growing up, that's all I saw. I saw the Black Panthers. I saw the Nation of Islam. I saw the Liberation Army movement. That was all a part of my childhood, as well as Dr. King, as well as Bobby Kennedy. I remember all that, and I'm passing this on to you. Love you.
I listened and learned about the Black Power movement. Such a fascinating time in American history. My parents and I discussed the various exhibits. They were pretty interesting. My dad really wanted me to better understand that time. He said my grandmother, his mom, made sure that he and his siblings were proud of their Black heritage. I learned about people and things that occurred when he was my age that helped shape my father's attitude about the world and his role in making it better. Even the music was connected with the movement. He believes that I can make things better for our people. I want to continue my parents' work when I get older. One of my father's heroes was the dynamic political activist Angela Davis. I learned about Soul Dad brother George Jackson, who died in prison. And that one of the Black Panther Party founders was Bobby Seale. I didn't know about the Black Panther newspaper until that day. I learned about the Liberation bookstore in Harlem. Our family raised our fists to symbolize Black power and to pay tribute to a time in our community's recent past. We know that we must continue to work hard and encourage others to do their part so the people, our people, can rise. This segment takes us to a trip we went to in the South, Memphis, Tennessee, and Little Rock, Arkansas. We had some soul food at a restaurant on Beale Street. It was my first time having some authentic Southern cooking.
Memphis, Tennessee is the home to one of the greatest jazz musicians, B.B. King.
The next morning, I first learned about the legendary blues singer and guitarist, B.B. King. King is credited with creating a sophisticated style of soloing that later influenced many electric blues guitarists. He even has a street named after him. Our next stop was Mason Temple, the central headquarters of the Church of God in Christ, the largest Black Pentecostal group in the world. The building was named for Bishop Charles Harrison Mason. He was the founder of the Church of God in Christ. On April 3rd, 1968, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his final speech here at Mason Temple, and it was called, "I've Been to the Mountaintop." The next day, on April 4th, 1968, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was gunned down here at the Lorraine Hotel. I learned more about another one of my dad's childhood heroes and Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity brother, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The Lorraine Hotel, which is the site of the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. It was an awesome tribute to one of the greatest men to walk the planet. While in Memphis, my dad made me listen to his entire last speech in a very creepy way. It seemed like he knew he was about to die. On our way to Little Rock, Arkansas, we passed cotton fields. I had never seen that before. My father reminded me as to how our ancestors were tortured picking cotton, and because of that abusive free labor, the U.S. became the top economic power in the world. It was built on the backs of an enslaved people. We were in Little Rock, Arkansas for my Uncle Ken Martin's 60th birthday party. It was so nice. He was really surprised. I took that picture. The next day, my Auntie Laura took me to meet her friend, a famous Harlem Globetrotter, Hubert Geese Osby. His team actually had, at one time, a Saturday morning cartoon. I got to see some of his really cool memorabilia in his home. He was a really nice man. Funny too. This is the historic Little Rock Central High, where in 1957, the Little Rock Nine integrated the school. A major historical event took place right here. In August 2005, a monument was dedicated to those 9 brave black students next to the Capitol in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Lift every voice and sing.
Bronx Black History Makers!
Colin Powell was the first African American appointed as the U.S. Secretary of State, as well as the first and only to serve on the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was raised in the South Bronx on Kelly Street and attended Morris High School.
Let us march on. Lift every voice and sing.
Michael Blake was responsible for the grassroots efforts with electing our country's first African-American president, Barack Obama. Currently, he is an assemblyman in the 79th District in the Bronx and is the vice chair for the Democratic National Committee. He's also my godfather. Bronx Black History Makers!
My Bronx Black history lessons started when my dad took me to a famous location, 1520 Cedric Avenue, in the Boogie Down Bronx. My dad and I had so much fun doing this one. I had him cracking up. This was such a great memory. Here I go. Serious again? We are here at 1520 Cedric Avenue, universally recognized as the birthplace of hip-hop. 1520 Cedric Avenue in the Bronx was where the legendary DJ Kool Herc invented blending the break part in records.
This is DJ Kool Herc, the father of hip-hop. This is going out to my man.
Our next stop was the world-famous Yankee Stadium. On April 14, 1955, Elston Howard became the first black player to wear the Yankees pinstripes. In 1963, Elston Howard became the first black player in the American League to win the Most Valuable Player award. In the 30s, 40s, and 50s, upwardly mobile blacks moved from Harlem to live in the more spacious Morrisadia Bronx apartments. I was fascinated listening to my dad interview Dr. Mark Nason of Fordham University. He wrote a book about the Bronx that my father and mother loved before the fires. The book gave my father a lot of information we used in the Black History public service announcements we created and for this program. St. Augustine Presbyterian Church and Fellowship House. We are here at Thessalonian Baptist Church. Thessalonian's Reverend James Polite had a street named after him. I went to Kelly Street, where former New York City Landmarks Commissioner Gene Norman and General Colin Powell grew up. Right down the block was Dawson Street. That's where my grandmother's family lived. And in the very same building lived her friend, Dr. Vincent Harding, a civil rights leader who worked closely with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Here's a clip from the Bronx African American History Project featuring Grandma Gavan and Dr. Vincent Harding.
Absolutely no one bothered you.
So you were felt completely safe
Yeah.
everywhere.
We never even thought about it.
Like, would you walk home from like Harlem at
2 o'clock in the morning, 3 subways, walking the streets, even though you knew some of the little fellas who were junkies, once a few of them, they never bothered you. Nobody bothered you.
You never had to be afraid of being in a bar. You know, I haven't been in a bar maybe in 40 years because of what things that happen. But there you could sit and have a drink and enjoy the good music and just have a great time.
You just, you wanted to make your family proud. You wanted to make your family proud. Plus you were interested in so many, you know, interested in doing more. You know, I loved reading, and Vincent used to be always in and out, right? And my mother could always find me at the library.
Now, where was the nearest library to Dawson Street?
It was on Southern Boulevard.
But the library was a very clear alternative space that was part of the growing up process. We just knew that that was someplace else where we could be, where we should be, where we wanted to be. People on my street, on my block, the wonderful older women who were always looking out from their window or on the porch, saw me with this gang. And the word very quickly got to my mother that I was hanging out with this gang.
God bless them.
And my mother would not have any of it. And so the point came, I don't remember how long it was into my gang life, but the point came when I had to tell the gang that I could not be a member anymore. I remember
You were able to get out
told them the
in
reason
those days.
in those days that you could get out. But that was a part of that interplay of the life of the community and the life of that gang experience coming up against one another, and the community won. I'm sure people thought that that was simply part of what it meant to be a citizen and a member of the community.
Now.
Morris High School in Morrisania has produced great talent, such as Colin Powell, Dr. Vincent Harding, songwriter Valerie Simpson, and sports writer Howie Evans. He also coached my dad in East Harlem when he was a boy.
Lift every voice and sing.
Bronx Flag History Makers! NBA Hall of Famer Nate Penny Archibald grew up in Patterson Houses and attended DeWitt Clinton High School. In 1980, he led the Boston Celtics to NBA championship.
It's time we give back. Sow a seed and show someone where love's at. Lift every voice and sing.
Morrisania is a historical section in the South Bronx named after the powerful Morris family. They owned at one time most of the Bronx. It was also known as the Harlem of the Bronx. It was the home of General Colin Powell, Dr. Vincent Harding, and Valerie Simpson. Bronx Flag History Makers!
Lift every voice and sing.
Bronx Flag History Makers! Kerry Washington gained her recognition starring in the ABC drama Scandal as Olivia Pope, a crisis management expert. She's an award-winning actress who doesn't shy away from her Bronx roots.
Let us march on.
Did you know that archery started in Africa? Yes, African people invented hunting bows and arrows about 64,000 years ago. Some of the earliest arrowheads came from South Africa. In this final segment, we will look at how Hidden Gems brings the sport of archery to children in New York City. I am one of them.
No, that's too far. Touch your cheek. Right, arm straight, touch your cheek. Arm straight, arm straight. Pull your cheek, touch the corner of your smile. That's it. 1, 2, 3.
Good shot, man.
Thank you.
Last one.
The kids were really excited about participating in the archery program, and we had some pretty cool teachers.
1, 2, 3. Take a shot.
Wait, what?
What did you think of today's archery activity?
Well, what I thought about today's archery activity, I thought it was fun, and me actually getting to hit in the middle for the first time, because I've never played, I never did archery before. My dad always wanted me to do archery, and this is my first time doing archery.
What did you think of today's archery activity?
Today I thought about today's archery activity was a bit challenging, but it was lots of fun as well.
Would you like this to be part of the Saturday program?
Yes.
The kids are amazing. I had so much fun.
Yeah, I did too. They were amazing and great listeners.
Last one. It's 3 under. Yeah. Yeah, you can let go.
Oh, Rebecca!
Scared me so much.
That's like a bullseye.
We are closing out this program with an interview and a song our family did 8 years ago. Thanks for watching.
You're on. Okay, we're here at the studio of Ozzy, our director, just giving you some background information on the National Give Back for Kids campaign and our song, Give Back, written by myself, Hosea James Cavan II, and the antidote to R&B, Mr. Xavier Lewis. The song was written this year, in 2011, and the song is about motivating and inspiring adults to reconnect or connect with children by giving back, by helping out, by coaching, tutoring, in any way, whatever skill, whatever talent that you have, share it, give it, help these kids. They need so much help. So does it make sense?
It looks good. I'll have Liz review everything, and we can finalize next week.
Sound good?
Sounds good to me. Excuse me, sir. You asked me to remind you about the game.
Hey, I have to go coach a game. I'm out.
You still coaching?
Yeah. How about you? You used to be so active as a kid.
Oh, man, I don't have time to be coaching no kids, man. I barely have time to sleep.
Why don't you do this? We have a game this afternoon. Why don't you come through just like old times?
Hey, listen, I'll let you know what I can do. I'm not making any promises.
I'll see what I can do.
But good luck.
Good meeting.
Great meeting.
Come through today, man. The kids need you, bro.
Listen, that's your thing. Me, I'm trying to get this money.
We need you, man. Come through, bro.
I'll see what I can do.
I see all your smiles and all the tears streaming down on your faces. But I know all the while it's gonna be okay, yes it is. Just open up your eyes. Open up your eyes. The sun is soon to shine. Aim your arrow high and keep reaching for the sky. It's time we give back. Someone see and show someone where love's at. Even if you don't give a dime, give your heart and share your time. Help somebody else in life. Give back. Let's give back. Don't forget, the children are our future. Just teach them well and let them lead the way. It's our obligation. Help raise a mighty nation. Show for them a better day. Open up your eyes. shine. Yeah. Aim your arrow high and keep reaching for the sky. It's time we give back. Someone see and show someone what love's at. Even if you don't give a dime, give your heart and share your time. Help somebody else and run. Give back. Let's give back. Don't take the power of love for granted. It's the source that will change the planet. Until we all try to understand it, then we could give back. Back to a time of sacrifice. Like those before who paid the price. It's time we give back. Someone see and show someone where love's at. Even if you don't give it, give your heart and share your time. Help somebody else and run. Give back. Let's give back. It's time we give back. Give back. Someone see and show someone where love's at. Even if you don't give it, give your heart and share your time. Help somebody else and run. Give back. Let's give back. Just believe, dream your dream, spread your wings, be set free. Head up high, dry your eyes. Now's the time, shine your light. Just believe, dream your dream, spread your wings, be set free. Head up high, dry your eyes. Now's the time, shine your light.
Okay, raise your hand if you want to lose your money. Raise your hand if you want to pay extra for a service when you don't have to. My name is Bekah, and I'm young mogul at World of Money. Please tell me that you didn't raise your hand. Did you know that millions of people are pouring their money down the drain? They're not doing it on purpose. They're doing it because they didn't know that there are smarter and safer choices. What is a money drain? Yeah, but here's what I mean. Money drains could be in your neighborhood, and they charge extra money for your services you can get for free or at a lower cost from a bank or credit union. There are many money drains like payday loans, check cashing, rent-to-own, title loans, and pawn shops. But let's just focus on top 3. Payday loans are illegal in many states like Georgia and New York. Illegal means they don't have permission to be in business. Also Arizona, Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Vermont, West Virginia, and Washington, D.C. say, "Go away, money drains!" Check cashing places charge about $5 to cash your paycheck. $5 may not seem like much, but it can add up fast. Why not open an account at a bank or credit union and cash a check for free? Rent to own. Okay, this is how it works. Let's say you want a new $400 television, but you don't have the cash. Your local rent to own will let you rent the television for $15.95 per week for 78 weeks. Sounds like a great deal, right? Not! Here's what your $400 TV could cost you. $15.95 times 78 weeks equals $1,244.10. Then you add $62.40 for sales tax, plus a $10 delivery. Now your rental TV costs $1,316.50. My advice, you should save your money until you have the $400. Remember, stay away from money drainers. You can have whatever you want when you say for it. Remember the World of Money motto. Learn, earn, save, invest, donate. Time to test your knowledge. Follow us. Instagram @WorldOfMoney, Twitter @WorldOfMoney.org, Facebook @WorldOfMoney, Periscope @WorldOfMoney.org. See you soon!
To be young, gifted, and black. Oh, what a lovely, precious dream. To be young, gifted, and black. Open your heart to what I mean, to what I mean.
Bronx Flag History Makers!
Lift every voice and sing.
Helen Diane Foster represented District 16 in the New York City Council, which comprises of the neighborhoods Morrisania, Highbridge, and Morris Heights. She was the first Black woman in the Bronx to be elected to the City Council. She's also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority.
Bronx Flag History Makers!
Lift every voice and sing.
Howie Evans was a sports writer and a sports editor at the Amsterdam News and a basketball coach. He was inspired after hearing Congressman Adam Clayton Powell give his speech.
He wrote a story which was published by the Baltimore Sun, and he became the first Black writer at the paper.
Bronx Flag History Makers!
Lift every voice and sing.
Jacqueline Smith Bonu, she is an educator and jazz pianist.
Her uncle is Thelonious Monk, the famous jazz musician, moved in with her family in the Bronx at Lyman Place because of a house fire.
Lift every voice and sing.
Dr. Vincent Harding graduated from Morris High School as class valedictorian. He received his doctorate from the University of Chicago. He was a civil rights leader and worked closely with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he was a pioneer in the Black Studies movement.
Let us march on.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science, become the mayor or something, make the situation better for other people. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.